Hey guys, welcome to Potato Reads Reddit. I'm Potato, and today we have an OP who is extremely frustrated with her sister's nonsense baby talk and doesn't know whether or not she's the asshole for putting her foot down. Alright guys, don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button, it really does help out the channel, and that notification bell too, if you feel like it, and we'll get right into the stories today. Our first story is from a throwaway account. Am I the asshole for telling my sister to stop using nonsense baby talk? Original post. Really need Reddit for this one, as I genuinely don't know if I'm the asshole. Throwaway, as my sister has read it. All fake names. My 34 female sister, 27 female, Alana, has always been somewhat infantile. But in the last year, she stepped up her game in the category of nonsense baby talk. She was seeing a guy last year who I think liked it, which might be why, but it's literally every second sentence and it's driving me nuts. Some examples. She's arrived at my house and asked if she could put some
juice in the fridge.
Turned out she wanted to put juice in the fridge. On seeing my 6-month-old crying, she loudly said,
"Oh no, don't cry."
And she's asked if we have any
Ice in the freeze.
ice in the freezer. You get the idea. It's endless and very annoying. My older sister, 35 female, Estee, and I have chosen to combat this by pretending we don't know what she means until she says it correctly. My mom does nothing about it, as Alana is the youngest and always babied a bit. Mom has even translated the baby talk for me and Estee when we are pretending we don't understand. Anyway, yesterday Alana was at my house for my birthday, and the baby talk was dialed up to 100. We had a giant cookie for a cake, and later in the evening, Alana handed my husband a plate and requested
a slice of cake of coke.
A slice of cookie cake. This was too much for me, and I told her to stop with the made-up words. She replied,
"But it's cute."
I informed her it was not cute and asked her to cut it out. She refused and told me,
"I can do whatever I want and nobody can tell me what to do."
Or something along those lines, to which my mom agreed. I then said that she had to make sure not to use the nonsense words in front of my 6-month-old, as I wanted her to learn the right words, which was really just an excuse to stop her from doing it. Alana pointed out that Estee uses made-up words with her 2-year-old. Estee says tummer instead of tummy, but that's the only one she could think of. I said that what Estee does with her daughter is irrelevant because I'm the one asking Alana to stop. That bit might not be relevant, but I'm adding it for full transparency. When my husband reappeared with the cake, I refused to let Alana have it until she asked for it properly. She gave me a death glare, but did ask properly, albeit in a sulky manner. My am I the asshole is twofold here. Was I the asshole to withhold the cake until she asked for it like a grown-up, and was I the asshole for telling her to stop talking nonsense in the first place? She is, after all, a fully grown adult who can do what she likes. But I honestly can't tell you how irritating it is to hear nonsense talk all the time from a 27-year-old woman, and she had it dialed up to 11 for some reason. My mom agreed with Alana, obviously. Estee wasn't there, but agreed with me when she was told what happened, as did my husband. I'd love to put my foot down and tell her to cut it out every time, but I need the judgment on Reddit for this, as I don't know if I'm blinded to my unreasonableness by how annoying it is. OP has offered the following explanation for why they think they might be the asshole. 1. Was I the asshole for telling Alana not to use baby talk and for not letting her have cake until she asked for it correctly? 2. I might be the asshole as she's an adult who can talk however she likes, and maybe withholding cake was a controlling/jerk move. So, OP, I discussed it with my wife Rice, who does a bit of baby talk, and I personally, much like you, do find it a bit annoying. It's not in my scope of things I enjoy. So she thinks you're the asshole. I think you're also the asshole, but a soft asshole. Only because of the way you did it. I mean, you almost went out of your way to publicly embarrass your sister. And that was unnecessary. You could have taken her aside and had the conversation and set a boundary, and you could have done it like in the adult way. You know, since we're talking about doing childish things like baby talk, you know, you did a childish thing by, you know, publicly humiliating your sister instead of privately setting the boundary. So I'm going to go with you're the asshole on this, and we're going to move on to some of the comments from the post. Jerry McDubia says, not the asshole. I haven't even met your sister, and I just need her to stop so badly. OP responds to that by laughing. No Policy 4095 says, not the asshole. It's not cute. It's weird and annoying as all get out. You're not wrong to point out it's ridiculous and ask her to stop. I would also be ignoring it and not responding when she used baby talk until she used actual words. But also hold hope that if she's around your children, as your children get older, they're going to say things. Kids don't hold back at all. Ms. Queen responds to that saying, I'd consider going further than ignoring her. I'd start serving her beverages in a baby bottle, only child-safe drinks as well, asking if her diaper needs changed, not letting her near the stove or fridge as they're only for grown-ups to use, etc. If she wants to speak little like a toddler, treat her like one. When she complains, the response is, but it's cute. However, I have a bit of a petty streak. Sam the Superman says, not the asshole. I thought she was primarily doing this baby talk to a child. She needs to cut that stuff out. It's incredibly cringe. OP responds to that saying, I literally got a full body cringe from the cake comment. OP has provided us with an edit update. Thanks for all the comments. I'm trying to read through them on and off while looking after my daughter, and some of them are really making me laugh. To answer a few questions, yes. I've addressed this with her before, as has Estee. This is just the first time I've flat out refused to follow up on what she said. She's pulled the but you do it with your daughter card on Estee before too, so clearly she thinks that's a good argument. The only people present were me, my mom, Alana, and my husband. It was just a low-key thing, so no big crowd. Estee and her husband joined later via Zoom. We played Joke Boat on Jackbox. I came fifth. Alana is generally very sweet and fun, but definitely immature and can be super annoying. This gets on my last nerve very quickly, and I can be hard on her. Hence my am I the asshole. Usually my husband is good at pointing out if I'm being harsh, but he was totally on my side here. Yes, I use Hale's sister's name on purpose, and yes, I'm smug, I get to be Danielle. Anyway, my mom came over and I spoke to her. She agreed very quickly that it is annoying AF, but said that Alana is working on standing up for herself, and my mom wanted to support that. I was like, sure, but pick your battles. My mom agreed and said she will talk to her about it when it's just them, as she thought that agreeing with me in the moment would have made Alana defensive, and she wouldn't have listened, which is probably true. I have mentioned what some commenters had said about it being my house and me being able to ask her to stop. She agreed with this and reiterated she would talk to Alana. That's all I have for now. I'm going to talk to Estee, and I think we're going to go with the talk to her seriously / treat her like an adult approach, and try to be a bit kinder about it. Thanks again for the comments. Estee and I are feeling very vindicated. And OP has provided us with a full update as well. Update, am I the asshole for telling my sister to stop using nonsense baby talk? As I said before, Estee and I felt incredibly vindicated by the judgment and comments in general, as we are being told by our mom not to be hard on poor Alana. It's got to the point where we don't rip into her like we do each other, which is a shame as we are English and our primary love language is insults and sarcasm. Anyway, I digress. I got my chance to confront Alana on Saturday evening when Alana and my mom came over for another round of Jackbox and Alana asked me if I liked her new jump. I replied, "Your what?" And she leveled me with a slightly smug, unblinking stare. My mom jumps in and tells me she means her jumper, and Alana interrupts her saying, "She knows what I mean, I can say jump if I like." Clearly she had decided to double down, but I had my Reddit voices in my ear and I was prepared. I asked her to stop talking in nonsense words, and she told me that it's a thing that all millennials do, and I needed to get over it, and said that I do it too and gave Prosec as an example for Prosecco. I disagreed, then told her that I'd been Googling it, translation, I've asked a bunch of Redditors, and that it had made me wonder if she was doing it as a reaction to no longer being the youngest in the family. She was very affronted by this, telling me she had been doing it way longer than the arrival of the kids. I said that she had been doing it much more recently, and my mom agreed with me, Alana looked livid at this and kept sputtering that it wasn't the case. I said that in my Google Reddit research, I had read that it could be a comfort for anxiety and asked her if this is what it was. She seemed very annoyed about my trying to diagnose her or make it into an issue. In my opinion, she was trying to be cute and funny, and I was ruining it with my concern for her well-being. She told me that I was very weird for thinking it's a big deal and for Googling it, and I said I was doing this because she's far too old to be talking like a Yoda baby. I then said that if it wasn't a reaction to anxiety, could she please stop, because it annoys me a lot, and I don't want to be annoyed when I hang out with her. Full props to Reddit for my phrasing here. She stared at me in silence for a good 20 seconds. I could see her brain whirring as she tried to calculate the reasons to say no, but in the end, my mum quietly interjected with, "That's a reasonable request, isn't it?" And Alana gave a hefty, defeated sigh and said, "Fine." I said, "Thank you," and we swiftly moved on. I'm hopeful that's the end of it. I'm so glad I turned to Reddit for this one, as all the advice worked perfectly, and I'm going to try and keep it in mind with my interactions with Alana going forward. Full Worldliness 1480 says, "I'm laughing here. Just the mental image of her sitting there trying to figure out a way of continuing this ass-hattery while not proclaiming she is in need of therapy." Another Reddit user responds to that saying, "I have to +1 this. When I read the line about her just sitting there for 20 seconds, I had the Jeopardy theme playing in my head." Crazy Fan Geek says, "As a millennial born in 1989, I can assure you I don't baby talk and feel slightly offended at the suggestion that we all do it. But ripping into my younger brother and sister with sarcasm and insults, I fully understand it's definitely our English love language." Sashiku says, "Born in 94 and here to tell you, the almost Gen Z millennials don't do it either." Aurum Phallus says, "Me, a millennial. She does not speak for me. We millennials are a tired, broken, and debt-ridden people, but we don't do that. Great work, OP. You did good. Your sister is weird as heck, though." Another Reddit user responds, "We millennials aren't a tired, broken, and debt-ridden people. We aren't?" And that's it for that saga, guys. Why don't you let us know what you thought down in the comments below, and we'll move on to the next story, which is posted by Baker1842. Am I the asshole for choosing a lower-paying job without consulting my husband first? I, female 28, recently left the job I had for the past 2 years. I applied for a few jobs and got offered 2, one with a lower salary. The job with a lower salary was my dream job, while the other one wasn't. I told my husband Sean, male 28, about the dream job, and he was excited for me, but we didn't go into too much detail. But at this time, he knew about the other offer, but told me to take the interview and see how it goes. Interview went well, and I accepted the job. I'm filling out relevant paperwork when Sean asks how it's going, and looks through the paperwork I'd already signed. He asked if this is how much I'll make, and I said yes, before he brings up how much more the other job offered. He said that this work pays more than this and questions why I'd accept this offer when the other offered more. I told him I liked the environment, it was my dream job, great benefits, and slightly better hours. He told me that we don't always get to pick jobs just because we like them, and that it was not smart to pick a job with less pay for that reason. He told me that I should have talked to him first, and that this was a decision that impacted both of us, and I was putting my wants over our needs. I told him that I had told him about the interview, but he told me that that was a cop-out. He didn't believe I'd choose a job with less pay, but didn't want me to regret not exploring the opportunity, so that I didn't have any what-ifs. He also brought up our student loans, both lawyers, and how he was actively working towards paying off his while I wasn't taking the initiative to pay off mine. Am I the asshole for making this decision without my husband? Previous salary, $80,000 a year. First job offer salary was $73,000 a year. Second job offer salary was $220,000 a year. OP has offered the following explanation for why they think they might be the asshole. The money difference is huge, and a big life decision should be made with your partner and confirmed in case they weren't aware. Oh, this is a tough one, OP. I don't believe, personally, that a partner has the right to dictate their partner's career. That being said, this is something you and he should have sat down and weighed the pros and cons of before you just straight up and accepted the job offer. because the other hand of that is that you are partners and you made an incredibly important financial decision without your partner. So this is a tough one. This really is a tough one. First off, pay off your student loans. Start doing that, because he's right. If you're not focusing on paying off your student loans, then you are making unwise financial decisions. Second off, that is an astronomical difference in salary. I mean, you took a $7,000 a year hit when you could have almost tripled your yearly income. So, I mean, I think I'm going to have to go with you're the asshole on this one. I don't think I have a choice in the matter. I think you're the asshole a little bit. You should have discussed this with your husband, your partners. You need to talk about these things. You need to bring this up to him. You know, you shouldn't have just flat out made this decision. He is the slightest bit of an asshole for the way he approached you about this confrontation, but yeah, you are definitely the larger of the two assholes in this situation. And I kind of understand him being blindsided by these numbers and reacting, having that knee-jerk reaction. So, yeah, you're both assholes to varying degrees, but you are slightly more of an asshole in this situation, OP. Sorry. Let me know what all of you guys think down in the comments below. Do you agree with my soft or my hard you're the asshole, or do you think that OP's autonomy to choose to make her own career decisions outweighs her responsibility to her partnership? Alright, and we're going to move on to the comments from the post. Forgotten Troll says, everyone sucks here. I think there's a bit of blame to go to both of you. The difference in salary between those positions is huge, and I think that for something like this, you and your husband should have talked about the decision together before you chose the lower salary. That $220K offer, probably an associate position in big law, or a counsel, or of counsel positions in a boutique firm, would have come with a crap ton of stress and weekly prayers at the altar of the almighty billable. But it would have been a crap ton of money that could have helped you both as a family. When you are in a family, your financial decisions affect the household and each other, so you do need to discuss them together. Maybe you would have weighed the factors together and concluded the higher salary was not worth the pain. Maybe you could have resolved for you to hold that job just long enough for you to get on a good financial footing, then leave it for something more fulfilling. I don't know, but you should have made that decision together. On the other hand, I don't like your husband's attitude. It would be one thing if he were looking at this as a mutual decision, or if he looked at this through the lens of a pure financial decision that could benefit your overall household. But he's not. Instead of emphasizing that the two of you should be a team, he is lecturing you about your decision-making process. That really, really does not sit right with me, and it sounds like he is trying to infantilize you. Isologus says, lawyer here, and based on the salaries, 100% not the asshole. The second job would be a soul suck. Probably 2,000 billed a year, which, when new, takes 3,000 hours. That's the way firms get their golden handcuffs on you. I'm guessing your spouse is blinded by the American sickness of equating worth to salary instead of quality of life. If you love your job and have the time and money to enjoy life together, then it's a much better choice. And honestly, you would be the one getting up and going to a firm job every day, thinking about how much nicer it would be on the other side. ED for typos. OP responds to that saying, yes, he works 80 plus hours a week, and while he enjoys it, it would ruin me. And Isoglogus replies to that saying, so it's a mix of misery loves company also. I'm sorry. So while I was thinking that he is the asshole, this has too much lawyering career and expectations bundled up with it. I think both of you need to have a long talk about quality of life versus quality of career. You clearly have some good insights. Soul Reddish says, not the asshole. Why would he expect her to take a higher paying job over her dream job? Why does she need to explain her rationale? So he can talk her out of it? Shouldn't he be talking her into taking her dream job? He knows it's her dream job, they have a prenup, and her parents have helped her deal with a significant chunk of her education loans. Isn't your SO supposed to help you chase your dream job? Alright guys, that's it for the comments on that story. Why don't you let me know what you thought down in the comments below, and we'll move on to the next story, which was posted by PositiveAd5933. Am I the asshole for refusing to let my mom move into my new house? I, 30 male, recently put an offer on a home that was accepted. I'm getting ready to close next week. Over the last 5 years, I busted my ass off to pay down my debt and save up money. I worked a full-time and part-time job, side gigs, and went to school full-time. I sacrificed a lot to make my dream happen. My mom and me have never gotten along. We still have a strained relationship, but do better living apart. I moved her into my tiny 2-bedroom apartment a year ago to help her out. She lives mostly on Social Security. She's not physically able to work a normal job due to physical restraints. This was a temporary solution to help us both out. The problem is my mom has never been financially responsible as long as I've known. She constantly defaults on loans, spends more than she makes, relies on CCs, and constantly overdrafts her bank account. She can't even qualify for most apartments, even with a higher deposit. The deal we have was to split the cost of rent and utilities 50-50, with food purchased separately. In the years she's lived with me, she's maybe paid her portion a total of 4 months. She claims to never have money, so my expenses have doubled since I've been paying rent, increased utilities, car insurance, and increased food bills. She's also very critical. She also has 2 dogs that I can't stand. I like dogs in general, but not her dogs. It sucked, but I made it work. When I applied for mortgages, I decided to do so in my name only for 2 reasons. First, I didn't want to have to rely on her paying her portion of the mortgage and wind up over my head, and second, I didn't want to risk getting a lien slapped on my house from her creditors. Even though I qualified for a good amount, it still limited me in what I could afford. When I started the search, I chose the house based on my needs and wants and budget. Found one I loved that checked off almost everything on my wish list. The only catch was it was outside the area I was looking in. It's about 45 minutes from my work, but I loved the house so much that I was willing to compromise on that. I didn't take my mom on any house tours with me, so the only time she saw the home was after the offer was accepted. The criticism started from the moment we got out of the car. She didn't like anything about the house. The final straw for me was when she demanded to get the master bedroom and bath. I told her that no, I was taking the master since it was my house, and I was paying the mortgage. I was entitled to the master. It turned into this huge argument. I told her I was sick of her BS and she could find her own place since she wasn't going to live with me. This has caused a lot of tension between us the closer I get to closing. She won't qualify for her own place because of her credit and income, but I'm getting so emotionally drained with her dependency. I'm sure she'd qualify for assistance since she's a veteran, but she refuses to do any research on her own. My siblings want nothing to do with her. I'm not sure what to do. Am I the asshole? OP has offered the following explanation for why they think they might be the asshole. I feel like I might be the asshole because my mom won't be able to afford her own place, thus putting her in a tough situation. Oh, OP, it's always tough when it's moms. So here's my view on this. First off, kids don't owe their parents anything. Okay? It doesn't matter how much or how little they give you. You know, if they give you the world, you still don't owe them for that. They're your parents, okay? They did that for you because you were their child. And if they demand something in return for it, well, that's a very toxic kind of parenting, and I think that it's disgusting. The second thing I want to say is that children should not be buying a house with their parents ever. That is something that you should be doing with your partner. And if you're not doing it with your partner, you should be doing it on your own. And it's great if you have parents that will help you with the purchase of your house, maybe give you a down payment, or help you determine whether it's a good house to buy, or help you with renovations once you own the house. All of these things are great, but you should not be moving in with your parents. You should not be purchasing the house with your parents. That is not a parent-child relationship activity. So, OP, I'm just going to go with a straight up not the asshole. Your mother is incredibly codependent. She's taking advantage of you. She's manipulative. She's hypercritical. And yeah, she's just straight up taking advantage of you. So not the asshole for setting a boundary and putting your foot down finally, even if it was done in the heat of the moment. So I'd like to hear what you guys all have to say about this story. Let me know if you think that OP is the asshole or not. And we'll move on to the comments from the post. Winterborn25 says, not the asshole. There's a saying that goes, don't set yourself on fire to keep someone else warm. I know it's hard, but you should walk away, like your siblings did. How old is she? You can call your local adult protective services and explain the situation. See how they can help. OP responds to that saying, she's 66. My irritation is she gets benefits from the VA, and I know they have programs to help with housing. She just doesn't want to put in the effort. Crystals2000 says, not the asshole, but OP, create a group chat with your mom and siblings. I just want to make it clear that Mom will not be moving with me to my new house. I have told her to look into veterans programs, but she has done nothing. She is either going to live with one of you, or it looks like she'll be homeless. I don't want there to be any confusion. I will not let her step foot in my door. I will not let her stay the night. X date is the final date she will have a place under my name to live in. Her stuff needs to be gone from the apartment by X date. You guys can let her know if you have a place for her to stay so she knows 100% what her options are. Then I'd get her name on a women's shelters list. This woman will sponge off you forever if you let her. Cut ties now with the new house and don't look back. Alright guys, that's all the stories for the day. Let me know what you guys thought down in the comments below. Don't forget to like and subscribe and hit that notification bell too if you feel like it. It really does help out the channel. Let us know down in the comments below what you thought about this episode and the way the channel is going, and what you thought about all of the stories as well. Alright guys, well thank you for spending your time with me today, and you have a good one. Bye!